doing all the commercials? Let's see commercials. Dang. Hey, you know that there was war in heaven? Michael and his angels fought against the devil, the dragon, that old serpent, and cast him down to the earth. And a third of the angels were gone down with him. That's here on earth. That already happened. Some preacher guys will tell you that it's future. Some guys will tell you that it happened during when we're raptured away secretly. I'm telling you, it already happened. Just read the book of Revelation. That means they're here. 1/3 of all the angels that were involved in that war in heaven are here. And the devil was wroth or angry with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. That's us. So they're like making war with us. But you know, you're not going to find them physically shooting silver bullets at you. They're spiritual bullets, man. You already know that, I'm sure, but if you don't, you do now. The Apostle Paul says that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual powers and principalities in high places. Principalities, spiritual powers in high places is where our battle is at. Our, meaning the human race. Here we are looking at Jerusalem and Israel and Palestine, borders, going back to the borders of 1967. Indefensible borders. Well, why don't we go back to 1948? If we can get back behind 67 to indefensible borders, let's back up all the way to 1948 and reestablish those borders. Maybe that'll create peace. After all, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, shalom, shalom, peace. Peace be with you. Jerusalem, the city of peace. Where the heck did Jerusalem come from? It sounds to me like it belongs to Israel. Jerusalem, Jew, duh, it makes sense to me. But then, I don't know anything. So I had to research it for a minute. This is my teleprompter. There is no town as biblical as Jerusalem, but it was neither built nor named by Hebrews. Remnants of Canaanite town called Salem date back to the early Bronze Age, and the first biblical mentioning of this place is in Genesis 14:18, where Abraham and Melchizedek meet. The name Jerusalem occurs first in Joshua 10:1. It was a Jebusite city until King David overtook it. In the Holy Bible, the book of Samuel, chapter 5, verse 6. By the time the Hebrews had a say in it, the name Jerusalem had long been established. Most likely the original name that sounded something like Jerusalemum or Jerusalemu meant foundation of Shalem, the latter being known as the Ugaritic God. The reason why the Hebrews didn't rename the city when they had the chance might be because it was so easily translated into something very striking in Hebrew. Without a doubt, it goes on and on and on. That's from Wikipedia. So I'm going, wow, well, maybe they are an occupying force in Jerusalem. After all, belongs to the Canaanites. Well, who the heck are the Canaanites? They are the ones that need to be there. They're the rightful owners, right? The Hebrew Bible lists the borders of the land of Canaan, Numbers 34:2, and includes this phrase, the land of Canaan as defined by its borders. End of story. Hey, let's go back to those borders. Forget 1967, 1948. Let's go back to Numbers and establish the borders way back then and give it to the Canaanites. At least if I was president, I'd go over to Israel and tell them what to do. They shouldn't be so arrogant as to come over here and lecture me, right? Well, according to ancient tradition, Jerusalem was first a small village known as Salem and inhabited by Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? But according to the Bible, Melchizedek was a contemporary to the prophet Abraham, who lived around 1800 BC. It does be said that Jerusalem was originally a Canaanite city built, along with a temple, by a Canaanite king some 3,800 years ago. All right, well, let's go back 3,800 years, and we'll establish those borders, all right? Ahmad Shafat, the origins of Jerusalem and its place in history. in the 80s he wrote this. 2 periods during which the Muslims lost control of Jerusalem. The only 2 periods in time was 1099 and 1187 to 1187 and 1229 to 1238, Common Era. Not after death of Christ or anything, just Common Era. Okay, then the British had it, the Germans had it, and all these people had it, and we all set up these things, and there's the war in 67, da-da-da, and they're still fighting after all this. That's IslamPerspectives.com. I think we should just go way back in time, because you got to find out who the Canaanites are. Listen to this. Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard, and then he drank of the wine and was drunk and became uncovered in his tent, meaning he was naked. And Ham, the father of Canaan, was like one of the guys who was on the ark with Noah, and his son, the father of Canaan, his son, they saw the nakedness of Noah and told his 2 brothers outside, Shem and Japheth, who were on the ark. They took a garment and laid it both on their shoulders and went back in and covered him up. Problem is, they turned away. They didn't want to see his nakedness. Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done. That was Ham. Then he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants ye shall be to your brothers." And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant." So the 2 brothers that went away, he blessed them, and the one son and his son and his grandson, he cursed them. The grandson was Canaan, who got cursed. Much of the explanation may be found in the meaning of the Hebrew phrase, because what the heck, I mean, he was naked, they came in and they saw him, so what? To look upon his or her nakedness in Hebrew, from Leviticus 18, verses 6 through 18, and 20, verse 7, has to do with incest. Here, Noah apparently carelessly left himself uncovered in his tent, from verse 21, whereupon his son Ham saw his nakedness. They give the Hebrew interpretation as genitals, and then evidently performed a sexual act. You know, they did some stuff tweaky to Noah, and they were cursed because of it. So that's the origin of Canaan, Canaan's curse. Canaan became the father of the Canaanites, who apparently inherited a bunch of stuff from him. So do you really want to give it to the Canaanites? I mean, see, it turned out eventually to be the promised land for Israel. So to me, it's like a done deal. You know, it ought to go to Israel because God gave it to them. I don't know if anybody ever brings that up anymore or not, but God gave it to them. So it's the promised land, the land of peace, the land of milk and honey. That's where all the fighting occurs. Jerusalem, located in modern-day Israel, is significant in a number of religious traditions: Abrahamic, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. I mean, everybody wants a piece of it, and they keep building their temples on top of each other. God had said a long time ago in Genesis, "Take now thy son, thine only son, whom thou lovest, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, Jerusalem, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, the Temple Mount, which I will tell thee of." Genesis 22, verse 2. The largest book on end-time prophecy given by Jesus, the book of Revelation, chapter 22, talks about Antichrist idolizing himself, an idol being set up, Revelation chapter 13, and the desolation of Israel, forced to worship the Antichrist. A new economic system is associated with it, New World Order. Nevertheless, amidst all of this detail, one thing Revelation never talks about is the Antichrist sitting in a rebuilt temple, physically, because he's after your mind and your heart and your actions, he being the devil, and a third of them angels that went with him in that war up in heaven when they were cast down here, and then they went to make war with the remnant of the seed, which would be us. That's what the war is all about, because our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual powers and principalities in high places. So we can all flock over to Israel and represent and watch for the temple to rebuilt and look at Hal Lindsey's timeline and figure out when Jesus is coming and make sure we get raptured properly. Or we can realize it's a spiritual war, man, and it happens here. And the other things to look at besides the temple as far as Jesus coming back, he didn't know the day or the hour. But I know we got to look for the mark of the beast and avoid it. That's really what we need to be looking for, man. Because if we follow all of this propaganda, we're going to follow the Pied Piper right off the cliff. Don't want that to happen. Save your heart and your mind. Ask the Holy Spirit to give you the answers. Go to amazingfacts.org. You can read a lot of good stuff online. Come look at me once in a while. I'm at angrydude.net. I got to turn the news back on because I want to hear some more commercials. Be back, part 2.
Well, you know, the administration just sanctioned 7 companies.
What?
For the first time, very significantly.
We've already got hope and change. What more do you want?
And several of